top 5 tips inside of Word for formatting. And what I did was I actually bugged all of our other instructors and said, give me your best tips. And I had some of mine and put together some of theirs inside of it. So one thing I want to start off with, and a lot of you probably have already used this or mentioned this, people that are using the resumes there, is if you haven't started a resume, the templates can be a great starter. So if a student hasn't started or a person hasn't begun a resume, if they were to go to their template area, which is under File and New, they can search for resumes. And this is the newest version of 365. I just updated it today. And with that, there are a lot, and there are a lot in any version, whether they're on 2010, 16, 19, 365, you're going to see a lot, and they'll give them fields. So it'll kind of give them a nice little look to it and that piece there. Now, for me, since I've been doing a resume for several years now, I never really needed to start off with this guy. So I just kind of started off with the blank page and wrote everything into it. But the templates can be a great start if no one started it. So that's one of my first tips. If you don't know it, template. The second tip that I have is section breaks and margins. Both can help you save space on a page, getting your resume down to one single page. And the section breaks can be used for individual pieces, like, for instance, on my header, I turned on a section break, and that's this lovely code here. And I have the code showing in case you're curious with my home tab, paragraph group, and this lovely backwards P. And I have this section header here, so that way my title, where I have my name, my email, my LinkedIn address, location, I have this set to a much smaller, tighter margin to make it set on the page a little better. And then I also had a section break for some of my skills down bottom. I created columns, and columns automatically make section breaks, which automatically have their own margins and set up into 2 columns there to kind of, again, make it fit onto one page. Now, I am not a big person of make your text smaller to make it fit on a page. I'm more of a play with your margins. So if you have that section break, which is found under our layout tab, page setup group, and breaks, you'll see our section breaks where you could do a new page, but I'm mostly doing continuous inside of resumes. And I set that continuous. And then once I come into this top part, if I go to my layout tab and page setup, I can go to margins and I can pick whatever margin breaking I want. I can go narrow. I can go to custom margins and I can adjust it even more, again, filling up the space, especially with a lot of stuff in the history. You can definitely use those margins to help out with it. So you can always adjust that, and the section break makes it easier. My husband was in the Marines for 11 years, so he has a lot of marksmanship and all this stuff on his resume, and those margins really helped set everything on the page and slim it down so that way it helped out there without making his font size 10. So it definitely worked out with that section break and margins. The third tip that is my biggest pet peeve, and I tell anyone if they say that they are professional Microsoft users, they're experts in it, you don't want to have these guys. Spacing, putting spaces between your job title, your location or company, and your time will cause a whole bunch of problems when you start converting it over to other programs there. So what I love to see, and you'll show you're an expert in Word, using tab alignments. And that's what's down here for my social media content writer. Nice little tabs to go here, tabs to go here. They stay always. Now you do need to do one step, which Word doesn't always like to turn on, and that's turning on your ruler, which is on your view tab, show group, and ruler. And then you'll want to select it. Now you can do everything at once. And that's what I normally do. I normally select this one, hold control, select the next one, and keep going with all my job titles. And then in the upper right-hand, sorry, left-hand corner, don't know my left and right today, upper left-hand corner, you'll see a backwards L, backwards, goodness gracious. You'll see an L, really messing up my lefts and rights. You'll see an L. That's your tab alignment. Now there are 3 tab alignments that'll get you through. The L does left align. If you click on it, you'll get an upside down T, which does center alignment. And then if you click on it again, you'll get the right-handed side one, which is your right alignment. So the L backwards, like you were doing with your right hand. All of these, what you'll do is you'll choose the ones you want, which there are more. This one with an upside down T and decimal lines up decimals. And there are a few more inside of it, but those first three really get you by. You'll choose the one you want. And I guess I'm going center. You'll choose the one you want and you'll go to the ruler and try to go in the center of the ruler itself, whatever time you want it there, and drop it. And then you can choose a different one. I most like the right for the far edge, and I can drop it on my ruler. Then what you have to do is get rid of your lovely spacing and type your tab key. So you'll get rid of your lovely spacing and tab key instead. And what it'll do is it'll line up, whether it's center or left or right, it'll line up perfectly with that. And you can always change it. Just choose the whole line again, move these across, or drag down to remove. And you can adjust those tab alignments to make it a little more seamless inside of there. So that's one of my biggest tips to anybody is those tab alignments. They're my favorite thing to say and show. Now, topic number 4, this one came from one of my instructors, and he is a very big visual aid on it. I do it a little differently, but I actually like his way better now, and now I'm totally using it. Your styles. So here I have my education. I have it in like a lowercase caps. I have it all nice and bold, all set up. And my professional experience isn't. Instead of me having to recreate this on my home tab, my font group, my paragraph group, and changing it up, what I can do is I can actually take this and on my home tab under my styles group, I can actually create a style to reuse throughout my resume. And what I can do is I can select this text. I can go to this gallery window. I have an up arrow, a down arrow, and a more button. And I could create my own style. Now there are already styles here. So if styles work for you, though I don't keep styling yourself, they're preset fonts, stylings, whether they're larger font size, bold, they're all here. Or I actually hit create a style. And with create a style, I could actually give it a name. I could modify it if I want to. And then I could reuse it quickly. So I already built mine. I called it resume section. So now if I choose professional experience here, which of course it's attached to my picture in the background, so hold on a second. If I choose this guy, and I go to the home tab, styles group, and in that piece here, I choose resume section, instant styling. So now it's saved into this file. I can reuse it as many times as I want to. I can keep changing up the sections and keep adding it. And it's all stored here in the style, making it quick and easy for you to change it. And last but not least, my last little topic inside of here, and this doesn't really go to formatting, but I think it's kind of important to have. When we're writing out the actual bullet points or information on what you did or what you have, a lot of times we like the same words. And we want to show that maybe we can go ahead and change up our word selection. And what we can do, and one great thing they created is the Thesaurus. And they have a few ways of getting to it and a few ways of options for it. Like if I wanted to change expert, I can choose the word expert. I could right click on expert and I can go to synonyms, or as my cousin used to say, synonyms. When I go over here to synonyms, I can see options where I can adjust quickly. So when I'm writing it out, I can write everything down and then I can go back and start right clicking on some words and changing it up. Now, one of the key things I stress with the thesaurus is definitely if you don't need the dollar word, the fancy word, the expensive word, as I call it, and a penny word will work, definitely adjust those words to the job you're applying for. Because one of the hardest things is getting told you're overqualified because you use the dollar word instead of a penny word. So don't always use the thesaurus, but it's definitely an option to use. And last little thing I want to point out, because this one's a little tough. If you choose it from here, quick and easy, you just left click. If you wanted to see more, there is the thesaurus, which will open up a side panel. And unfortunately, this hasn't changed in years, but if you wanted to add it, you really need to hit the drop down next to the word and insert or copy. And if you do copy, you have to paste it. but the insert definitely replaces that word super quick. But I like to mention that with the side panel because it gets tricky. If you click on it, it likes to dig more into the word. So just be a little careful of that. You want to do the arrow drop down and insert.